Paul Whiteman Presents. Brought to you by the makers of Chase and Sanborn Coffee and Tenderleaf Tea, with the Whiteman Orchestra and Chorus, Roy Bargy of the Whiteman Alumni Association, our guest Jimmy Durante, yours truly Bill Goodwin, and starring Dinos Shore.
Good evening, everybody. How you, Pop?
Hiya, Dinah.
You got that rhythm?
Yeah, man.
Does the spirit move you?
Sure, Shug.
Well, then let's get rolling with Revival Day. Have you ever had a sermon stir your soul?
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Make you crave that river Jordan for your gold.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Brothers and sisters, come along, let your feelings out. Just hear those sisters moaning and hear those brothers groaning, repenting and atoning on Revival Day. They're talking to the Spirit just like they see and hear it. They're sinful and they fear it on Revival Day. When that congregation starts to sing, nothing in this world don't mean a thing, no, no. Oh, glory, hallelujah. Don't it make you feel peculiar? Oh, the devil, he can't rule you on Revival Day.
When that congregation starts to sing, nothing in this world don't mean a thing.
Oh, glory, hallelujah. Don't it make you feel peculiar? Oh, the devil, he can't rule you on Revival Day. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. On Revival Day.
Ah, gee, that was swell, Dinah. Wonderful.
Thank you, Bill.
Say, tell me, how did you happen to take up singing anyway?
Oh, well, it's a long story, Bill.
Yeah?
First, I studied the piano for about 2 years, and then I studied singing for 2 years.
I see.
And then I couldn't decide whether to continue my career as a concert pianist or make singing my life's work.
Well, that was a big decision. How old were you at the time?
5.
A ripe old age. You know, Dinah, childhood is a wonderful thing. Why, when I was a boy with tousled hair, I went through life with never a care. To remain a child was my only wish. Then some guy slipped me a copy of Esquire.
Oh, yes, Bill. Childhood was a lot of fun. Remember those little boys who used to chase the girls all the time?
Yes, I do. Whatever became of them anyway?
I think they grew up and joined the Navy.
Yes, sir, I'll never forget my school days. Why, I can see our teacher now, Miss Weftlauber.
What did she look like, Bill?
Well, she was sort of the Mrs. Pruneface of PS-12. Cute kid. Those were the days. I remember every afternoon we had gymnasium class. So all morning I wouldn't do a thing. Just loaf through all my other classes.
Well, what'd you do that for?
I was saving myself for gym.
Well, how about you, Pops? Do you remember your school days?
Do I? I used to walk 6 miles a day through snowdrifts 10 feet high just to get to school.
Gosh, did you like school that much?
No, but it's better than hanging out in the pool room.
Hey, you sound like you were sort of a problem child, Paul.
Yeah, I was difficult even as a baby. They tell me my nurse used to walk the floor with me all night long.
Well, didn't that make her pretty tired?
No, but after a while she got awful bow-legged.
Well, just the same, it's a lot of fun to look back to the days when we were kids.
Yes, it is, Dinah. I'll never forget our high school graduation. The principal called me up to make a speech. I walked out on that big stage and gazed out at that impressive audience.
Well, what did you say, Bill?
Well, Dinah, I said, no more coffee stamps, no more rationing. But flavor, and even more flavor is still Chase and Sanborn's order of the day. We're making the richest, most flavorful blend in our entire history. That's why it's such a tremendous favorite in restaurants and hotels, especially this summer when the demand for iced coffee has reached an all-time high. Notice how good it looks. Delicious, refreshing, served in a tall, frosty glass. And remember that Chase and Sanborn are the leading coffee roasters in the hotel and restaurant field. Take a tip from these fine eating places and follow suit at home. Get Chase and Sanborn with its bonus of fresh flavor for better coffee, hot or iced. The lid is off. You can have all you want. So fill up your glass and enjoy it. Cool off with iced Chase and Sanborn coffee. Tonight, the whole Chase and Sanborn gang offers its sincerest congratulations to our fellow workers of Standard Brands. First, to the hard-working, patriotic men and women of the Standard Margarine Company in Indianapolis, makers of Bluebonnet Margarine, to whom the Army and Navy of the United States have presented the coveted E, the first Army-Navy E to be awarded for the production of margarine. This is the second E award conferred on men and women of Standard Brands in 1943. The earlier award was won by the workers in the Peekskill, New York plant for the production of Fleischmann's active dry yeast. And now, for maintaining for more than 6 months the high production standard on which the original award was based, the Peekskill plant has received the White Star to be flown with their E flag. That makes the third Army-Navy production award received by employees of Standard Brands this year. Indeed, we are proud. And we know that these plants and all other plants of Standard Brands will continue to put above everything else in importance the job of turning out the maximum quantity and best quality of materials needed for our armed services. In the Whiteman album of old-time favorites, Pops has certain numbers which he calls tintypes, or Old Uncle Ezra's. Such a tune is one we all remember, Good Night Ladies. Al Sack, by way of a new arrangement, has taken this Uncle Ezra in hand for a contrapuntal shave and a haircut. Paul Whiteman and the orchestra bring us their up-to-date version of Good Night Ladies. August the 10th, 1943. A modern streamlined train pulls into Union Station, and Jimmy Durante's nose arrives in Los Angeles. 10 minutes later, another train pulls in, and Jimmy himself arrives. And now, with a bow of gratitude to the railroad for delivering its precious cargo safe and sound, we present the noted traveler himself, Jimmy Durante.
Thanks. Thanks, Bill Goodwin. And what a trip it was. You know, Bill, on the train I seen a lady giving a baby milk before putting her to sleep. I said, lady, you shouldn't give the baby milk before putting her to sleep. She said, why not? I said, look, you give the baby milk. The baby tosses in her sleep, and what happens? The milk turns to butter. The butter turns to fat. The fat turns to sugar. The sugar turns to alcohol. And then the first thing you know, the baby wakes up with a hangover.
Well, Jimmy, that trip was quite an experience. And now may I welcome you to our little show. My name is Dinos Shore, and you may call me Dinah.
Thank you. My name is Jimmy Durante, and you may call me at Hillside, 7241. You know, if a man answers with a strong, masculine, romantic voice, it's me.
Jimmy, I understand you're a graduate of the Chase and Sandman show.
That's right, Dinah. If you don't mind my lapsing into the academic, I might even say I'm an alumnus.
You mean alumni?
Listen, Miss Shaw, just because I can't say that word, it doesn't make me an ignoramus. I wonder what did.
Say, you know, Jimmy, when I hear you on your own program every Thursday night, it's hard to believe that it was way back in 1933 that you were on this very same show.
Yes, Tempest fidgets.
Did you get your start in radio on the Chase and Sandman show, Jimmy?
No, Dinah, I started long before that. When I went on the Chase and Sanborn program, I was already a veterinarian. When I first started in radio, Major Bose was just a private. Captain Midnight was 10:30, and John didn't have another wife.
In other words, Dinah, Jimmy and radio practically grew up together.
That's right. First, I grew some. Then radio grew some. And now, look at us.
Yeah. Gruesome, isn't it?
Let that laugh be a birthday present.
Say, Jimmy, what was your specialty on those old Chase and Sanborn shows?
I played the piano. You've heard of Paderewski? You've heard of E. Turby? You've heard of Rachmaninoff?
Yes?
Well, they never heard of me.
Say, I understand, Jimmy, that you appeared in Carnegie Hall, Town Hall, and the Metropolitan Opera House.
Yes, but I had to give it up, Dinah. It was too much work for one janitor.
Oh, Jimmy, you're just self-deprecating.
I'll thank you to speak English, Mr. Goodwin. Who do you think you are, George Bernard Schwartz?
Hey, I heard some of your old records, Jimmy, and they were grand.
Thank you, Dinah, and I can still remember my debut. I steps out... Jealousy already. I steps out on the stage wearing a high hat, frock coat, spats, an ascot tie, and a mold cue in my eye. I sits down at the piano. I plays a melody of symphonies. First, I starts off with a bit of Mendelssohn, then a hunk of Mozart, then a pizzicato of Beethoven.
Well, how did you finish?
Flat on my back. Of course, I'd be glad to show you what I did in my first Chase and Sanborn program, Dinah.
Oh, we'd love to hear it, Jimmy.
Okay, but I gotta have help from the orchestra. Who's the leader of this aggravation? Paul Whitefish?
No, Jimmy, it's Paul Whiteman.
Oh, they got two leaders? Well, anyway, here's the way it went. I just sat down at the piano, ran a piece of dental floss through the keys, and I sang a little masterpiece I wrote especially for Chase and Sanborn, like this. Now, once upon a time, they sang the Vodeo-Yo, but that was long ago. Then everybody started into boop-boop-a-doo. They started like this, you know. Paul, I'll give you $50. You show me bloop-bloop in the music. Show me bloop-bloop in the music. He's showing me the music. Too bad I can't read. I'm surrounded by assassins. But the tune for you and me very unnecessary. Is that swingy symphony? They called it ink. a dinkity, a dinkity, a dinkity. Oh, what a tune for a dinkity, a dinkadoo. I'm carried away with the melody. It's got the whole world fooling. Paul, let me hear those trumpets. That's not a trumpet. That's not a trumpet. That's a trumpet. A dinkity, a dinkadoo, simply means dink. A dinkity, a dinkadoo. Now, a dinkity, a dinkadoo, a dinkity. Let me hear that band, Paul. What a band. A dinkadoo, a dinkadoo, a dinkadoo. Why, it's got the whole world fooling. You never know. You know, Paul, I'm taking voice lessons. No. Yes, Sinatra can't last forever. Let me hear it. Bring it out, Paul. Bring it out. It means a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo.
We turn now to a slightly more romantic mood in Dinos Shore. From the Bing Crosby picture, Dixie, Dinah sings a tender ballad straight from the hearts of lovers everywhere. Sunday, Monday, or always.
Won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always? If you're satisfied, I'm at your side. Sunday, Monday, or always. No need to tell me now what makes the world go round. When at the sight of you, my heart begins to pound and pound. And what am I to do? Can't I be with you? Sunday, Monday, or always?
What goes on the table in these times is of first importance, especially through the hot weather. And the American housewife does a grand job in the face of trying conditions and in spite of the heat. Right now, she calls upon iced Tenderleaf Tea as first aid to the parched, dry, and thirsty, because this finer blend makes richer tea, more delicious and flavorful. Tenderleaf brand tea brings you the special goodness of the young tea leaves, small and tender, just what it takes to match the melting ice, yes, with flavor to spare. In packages, Tenderleaf brand tea comes in 2 convenient sizes and in tasteless filter paper tea balls. These better tea balls are America's favorite, outselling every other kind. Now, your grocer's stock may not always be ample under present conditions. We trust you'll understand if he runs out, and next time, ask again for Tenderleaf Tea or Tenderleaf brand tea balls. Among the talented alumni of the Whiteman Orchestra, and at present an outstanding musical director and arranger on his own, is Roy Bargy. During his 12 years with Paul, Roy's interpretation of the Rhapsody in Blue helped make it one of the classics of modern American music. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Bargy.
Thank you.
Well, Roy, how does it feel to be back with Paul?
Fine, Bill. But it's a little overwhelming to be here with a man who knows so much about the finer points of music.
Oh, you mean Paul Whiteman?
No, Jimmy Durante.
Roy, when did you join the Whiteman
It
Band?
was back in 1928, and Paul was about to take the band on a world tour.
Don't tell me you signed up just for a free trip to Europe.
No, Paul, but it helped.
Well, just to let the folks know what you used to do around here, Roy, let's give them a sample of the good old Rhapsody.
Okay, I'll do my best, Pop.
With Roy Bargy at the piano, Paul Whiteman conducts excerpts from George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue.
Be with us again next week when Dinah, Paul, and all of us will be here, and our special guests will be Victor Moore and Billy Gaxton. The visiting member of the Whiteman Alumni Association will be William Frawley. Meanwhile, when it's coffee you're buying, ask for Chase and Sanborn coffee. When it's tea, Tenderleaf brand tea. Chase and Sanborn coffee, Tenderleaf tea. Two favorites for days like these. Ask your grocer for them both. This is Bill Goodwin saying good night from Hollywood's Radio City. Night, everybody.
These sizzling summer days, have another glass of iced Chase and Sanborn coffee. Rationing is over. There's plenty, and plenty of fresh flavor, too. Just what it takes to overcome the melting ice with a big margin of coffee goodness. And remember this about iced Chase and Sanborn. It's just as cooling as any other summer drink, just as refreshing on that score. But on top of that, you're drinking coffee, combining business with pleasure. Because we look to coffee for stimulation, for the boost to help us get things done, for satisfaction, too, the complete satisfaction that only fine coffee can bring. Get Chase and Sanborn coffee. Enjoy its wealth of deep-down, wholehearted, fresh flavor, hot or iced. The blend we're making these days is the richest in our entire history. So ask your grocer every time for Chase and Sanborn coffee. This is the National Broadcasting Company.